Hi everyone. I think I'm live. I'm just making sure. Just checking to make sure that it worked. Hang on, just checking. So if anyone's here, let me know. Oh, it looks like I am live. Okay, cool. Well, welcome to those of you who are here. Happy holidays. It was just Well, it is. Happy Hanukkah to everybody. I celebrated Hanukkah with my family, my sister-in-law, and her mom hosted, and it was a really nice celebration. So I'm pretty festive here, as you can see. I'm so glad people have joined. Let me know who's here and from where you're coming. And I'd also love to know what your holiday plans are and if you have any questions, anything in particular that you want me to cover. So I'm going to do 30 minutes really quick, talk about LinkedIn, personal branding, and all of that good stuff today. And we'll dive in. So, something I want to let you guys know, I was working with a client this morning that has JD Supra as their content syndicator. For those of you who don't know what JD Supra is a content aggregator, which essentially takes your thought leadership like a blog post or a like a client alert and disseminates it to their wider audience. And I love it because it puts content in the hands of people who wouldn't normally see it because they already have incredible SEO and incredible um gravitas, I guess I would say. Like it's a third party basically saying your content is worthwhile. So what I did with them was create a separate LinkedIn post and a separate website post to say that LinkedIn that they had that JD Super had covered this article. And we should all be thinking about that sort of thing, repurposing our content in different ways and getting a lot more bang for your buck from the things that you have. So I hope that that tip is helpful. If you're spending the money on a content aggregator, you should absolutely use it to your advantage. So thanks, folks, for joining me. Okay, we've got people from all over. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Also, if your company or yourself did a really interesting holiday card, I'd love to know what it was. I'm working on a few recipe books for clients. One is a drink recipe book, and one is a holiday recipe book. And one of my other favorite cards that I'm working on is a Spotify playlist that I did. So, of the lawyer's favorite holiday songs, and we made a Spotify list, which is very easy to do. And then the card itself has the whole playlist and who submitted the article, the song. And I think that's just like another great way to inject your personality and your firm and your people into your cards. I think versus I don't know, a snowflake or happy holidays in different languages, like you guys can do better. So I hope you will. Remember to put your holiday card also on LinkedIn as well, because that is a social media post. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that you could be doing over the next few weeks to really build your brand and business. Okay. So, number one, I would recommend that you take an audit of your LinkedIn profile. This is an amazing time to update your cover image. Make sure your cover image reflects what you do, for whom you do it, and even maybe a little bit of the why. The most important thing with your LinkedIn cover image is to include your contact info. And that's the thing that most people, I think, don't include. And remember, it's so important to make getting in touch with you easy for people. And if you don't do that, people will lose. I don't know, they won't necessarily go searching for your info. LinkedIn makes it hard for people to find you. So on your cover image, you should have your name, you should have your email address and your phone number. And I would put your specialties as well. So if you're an intellectual property lawyer, you could easily put in that you are in, that you specialize in the patent, trademark, and copyright areas. Okay. So I make all of my LinkedIn my LinkedIn cover images using Canva. And you should too. I don't know how many of you are using Canva, but it is there's a free version and a paid version, and the paid version isn't that expensive. So I would recommend that you invest in the paid version and do some of the courses online that can really give you a lot of information about how to utilize the templates. You can upload your color scheme, you can upload your fonts and your logos, and you are ready to go. And you'd be surprised how many top companies are actually using Canva. For some of the more specialized things, you can always utilize a graphic designer, but I think Canva works really well for the little things. So I recommend you do that. So use one of Canva's templates for your cover image, but I would just recommend you tailor it, and if and when you can use pictures of yourself in the cover image, like if you're speaking or if you have multiple headshots, that's also a really nice thing to do. One thing I wouldn't recommend is that you use LinkedIn's already pre-populated cover image templates, because those really don't add a lot and they're not specific to you. So that LinkedIn's trying to make life easier, but I think that falls flat. Also, another thing I think LinkedIn tries to make easy, but it falls flat, is the instant repost feature. Don't instant repost anything, because what it does is not doesn't give you the ability to add your own insights and take on something. It just essentially is a way for you to quickly repost something from somebody else, and that doesn't add to your own branding. So really try not to do that. Also, the number of likes that that post gets will go to the original poster, not you, if you don't have your own introductory text. So you're really missing out on an opportunity to build your brand and to build your business there. Okay, so LinkedIn cover image, I would love for you to all look at yours, customize it. Remember, you can change your LinkedIn cover image as many times in a week as you want. I mean, don't change it every week, but like, for example, if you have an upcoming article or a speaking engagement, or maybe you just published a blog post, you absolutely could feature it up at the top. Maybe your firm won an award, put it up there, or you have a big pro bono case that you recently won. Why not feature that on your cover image? You can upload a cover image in a matter of seconds. And so you can do that also on your LinkedIn company page or your individual page. Okay. So the other thing I want you to do over the next couple of weeks is look at your LinkedIn headline and your LinkedIn bio, which is your about section. Both of those sections should be optimized to reflect what you do, for whom you do it, and again, the why. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What makes you unique? And you can inject your personality in here. You can also tell a story. I mean, not in your headline, but more, you only get 220 characters for that. But definitely in your your bio, you can put a little bit about you. Maybe the ending is why you do what you do, or you can start out with that. But just really try to not copy and paste your website bio there. Make it a little bit more dynamic, more interesting, and a little more conversational. So it really shouldn't be informal language. It shouldn't be, Ms. Marrone is a seasoned legal marketing professional. It should be, I love what I do. I've been in the legal marketing area for 20 years, where I help small and mid and big size firms with marketing. And there's really nothing I haven't seen in the past 20 years. Something like that. If I can remove your name and put in another name, then that isn't really strong LinkedIn branding. So make sure you're doing that, and also update your LinkedIn um, publications. Like, look through the sections. It's a great time of year to ask people for recommendations as well. I take my LinkedIn recommendations and I use them as testimonials on my website and also social media posts. So that's just another easy thing to have working for you in the background. Use those basically those recommendations and turn them into a social post, and turn them into a page on your website where people talk about what it's like to work with you. In the same way, just like you want recommendations, you can give recommendations, and you may want to do that as a reciprocal sort of thing with somebody. But I think it's another great way to give back to people without people even asking. And if you want a recommendation from somebody, the best thing you can do is also not only ask, but write them a recommendation. And then it's up to them whether they put the recommendation on their profile. So they have to elect to accept that. So never feel like, anything you post or anything somebody posts about you is going to automatically wind up in your profile. You have total control. So, another thing you should be doing when you're doing your LinkedIn bios, everyone, is also think about your website bios. So, I'm talking to a lot of lawyers and business professionals who haven't updated their bios in at least a year or 6 months. So, this is a really great time to look at all of the things that you did over the past year and really make sure that they're reflected in your bio. Also, your practice description and capabilities, maybe even if you have a brochure, make sure as the world changes and as the business landscape changes, that what you want to focus on is really reflected in your materials. So maybe as we head into 2023, which I can't believe it's like 2023, I don't know where this year went, or the last 2.5 years, to be honest with you. But what you can do is feature some of those things, like looking forward to what you think is going to be top of mind for your clients. And maybe it's something about bankruptcy and litigation, or maybe it's an issue coming down the pipeline. Maybe it's something about employment laws, whatever it is. This is a really great thing you can do to update your materials and make them timely. And everybody here should have a brochure that they utilize, some sort of like one pager when somebody asks you about your business and about what you do, that you can just hand that to them. And it really shouldn't be PDFing a page on your website. It really should be something that you took some time and attention and put some thought into. So think about that as something else that is part of your overall personal branding. And I want to make sure everyone remembers that even if you work for a larger organization, a larger firm, you still can create some materials that are specific to you, your niche, your practice, your bio, all of those things. So make sure, it's really not one size fits all when it comes to anything that we do. So I want to make sure you all have customized materials, because it shows you care. It shows that you took the time and attention. And again, I do all of mine in Canva. Canva really elevates a pitch, a proposal, a PowerPoint. I don't do my PowerPoints in PowerPoint. I put my slides eventually in PowerPoint just to be able to like use the slideshow, but I make them all in Canva. So if anyone's interested in a Canva separate LinkedIn Live, I can do that, and I can do a webinar. I've done those before, but I'm telling you, you really want to make sure you know how to do these things, and that you have a few templates from which you can choose for pitches, proposals, for your bio. I do bios in Canva, and have a few LinkedIn templates. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about today is something like what I'm doing here. So I want everyone to think about a few things that you can do that support your brand and business, that are in your wheelhouse and that you like to do. When we find things we like to do to build our brands, we do them better. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, if you are not really keen on public speaking, don't public speak. If you prefer writing, write. If you think writing is a really daunting task and you don't know where to begin, or you look at that blank page and you're like, "Oh God," either partner with somebody else to write it together, or don't write. Do something else. Do a short LinkedIn post. But I will tell you that I think client alerts and blog posts are the very best way to engage with your audience and to provide value added thought leadership content. 100%. And a client alert or a blog post or an article is a gift that keeps giving. Let me give you an example. So, your client alert can be turned into multiple social media posts. You can also record the lawyers who wrote the alert, giving like a 60-second overview or synopsis of what's in the alert and why people need to care about it. So I'm working with a client on the expanded breastfeeding employer regulations in New York City and New York State. And so we are writing an alert on that. And a great thing somebody could do is talk about what employers need to be doing right away, and just give like a few lines on that. So combine the visual with the text, and you really are reaching more people and getting more bang for your buck. So you create an 800-word article, but you've got multiple ways to promote it and multiple ways to communicate that information. So, for example, I could take a statistic from that post and turn that into a social post. I can take a snippet of the text and then use the headshots from the lawyers or the authors, and I have another social post. And if you're looking for examples, I'm happy to share some of the work that I do with my clients so I can let you know more about how you put this into action. But you really should be thinking about getting at least 3 posts from every alert, from every podcast, from every blog post. And, like, for example, a podcast, everybody, could be turned into a couple different posts. So you could take a podcast and you could get the transcript, and then you could write an article. You could write several blog posts from that. You can do several social posts. You can also, if you created the podcast by using Zoom, you can use the video as a post. You can cut out little snippets, like a 30-second snippet, and that's a video post. And you've got content forever. So when I do my videos, just like I'm doing this, going live, I'm using, you know, the equipment on my phone or the equipment on my computer. It's really easy. And for those of you who are interested in going LinkedIn Live, why not maybe break down a podcast that you did or an article? So I recently wrote an article about 20 ways lawyers can build their brands, and I could go through the 20 reasons right now, and that could be the subject of a LinkedIn Live. If any of you are interested in doing LinkedIn Live, it's super easy to do. You need to have creator mode turned on, and you need to get a third-party streaming service to do it. So the most popular one, I think, is StreamYard. And I set up the LinkedIn Live with the time and the description in StreamYard. When you first sign up for StreamYard, it asks you if you want to, it will ask you to connect your StreamYard to LinkedIn. So then it's automatically connected. So I post an event on StreamYard that I'm doing a LinkedIn Live today or tomorrow, and then it shows up in LinkedIn. So it's that easy. And when I'm ready to go live, I just go to StreamYard and I click broadcast, and then I'm here. I'm telling you guys, if I can figure out how to do it, I know you can, because I am not super tech savvy. So you can do that. And for those of you who want to do a LinkedIn newsletter, which I still think is an underutilized tool, I hope you will do it. And it is super easy to set it up. You just write an article. You have to have LinkedIn creator mode turned on also for that. But again, it's super easy. They have a template and it really, really works. No, I don't use a teleprompter, Janine, but I'm pretty comfortable speaking. You certainly could. I would suggest you don't speak from a teleprompter. What I would suggest is that you do more of the like put notes. Another thing you can do is have your phone next to you. Yes, this is a dog, a holiday dog on my phone. You can have notes on the notes section of your phone and just have that like right up next to you on the computer screen, because this is actually on my computer, not my phone. So I can keep my phone next to me and make sure that I'm referring back to key points. But I know that that is not necessarily always super easy for people. I think if you're recording a video like a podcast that you want to turn into a video, or you want to do like a 1-minute video segment, you certainly could use a podcast. You certainly could use a teleprompter. You just need to be careful to make sure that you're not looking like you are reading, because like if I was reading a script, you would see me reading a script and I would maybe not look at the camera and I would be looking at the script like I'm trying to do here. But practice makes perfect. You can record yourself in like a StreamYard or on your phone and not ever go live. Do it until you feel comfortable. I tell people this story all the time that I used to be the worst public speaker, you guys. Like I was in grad school, I was like very close to flunking my public speaking course, and my teacher was so helpful and was just like, you have to get more confident doing it. And the way you get confident is by continuing to put yourself out there and do that. And the other thing is to not rely on cue cards or your PowerPoint, because technology can fail you and you could be like really in a bind when that happens. The thing that happened to me, I tell the story, is like I was reading from cue cards. This is like before teleprompters. This is like 10 years ago. And I was reading from them and they somehow slipped from my hands and I dropped all of my cue cards on the floor. And there I was on the you couldn't even see me in the screen. Like you could see like part of my head. And I was like trying to pick up the cards and they were all out of order and I lost my train of thought and I was like, "Well, can we re-record this?" And they were like, "No, it's live TV because, you know, you don't get to re-record live stuff." So, don't make that mistake. But again, like people are human. Like I make mistakes all the time. Like I'm making mistakes here like the whole time I'm doing this and I don't put too much stock into everything, but I will tell you that you got to really practice. I talk about this whole thing about you've got to be in it to win it. Like it's the New York State Lotto slogan and I really believe that with everything. If you want to get better on camera, you have to get on camera. If you want to get better about writing, you've got to keep writing. Nothing we do is needs to be Pulitzer Prize quality content. And so many of us sit on our content because we are editing it over and over and over again and we miss the boat. So remember, your good is good enough. I say this literally all the time and I can't stress it enough, but know that listen, I have bloopers all the time and I'm not a tech person, but somehow I figured it out and it's just really honestly is putting yourself out there because so many people don't. I think people appreciate when you do and just having the confidence in yourself that you know what you're talking about and you are trying to help people and that goes a long way. So, but personal branding can be done in so many other ways, which I've talked about. So you can do video, you can write articles, you can do a podcast. You certainly don't need to do all of these things at once. You certainly also could utilize LinkedIn. In fact, you know how I feel about LinkedIn, but I really think it's so important to be on LinkedIn and to have a presence very regularly here. Even if you're not comfortable posting yourself, it would be very advantageous and smart to start engaging with other people's content, commenting on other people's content. So when I was building my brand, I started commenting on the people I admired the most and the people who I thought had great quality content. And often I chose people who had a large following. So let me give you an example. If you commented on one of my posts, because I have a large LinkedIn network, you're gaining exposure for yourself through my network. And people who follow me and are connected to me may see something that you said in the comments and then start following you. So you're leveraging my network to help you and not necessarily me, but feel free to comment on my post. But only comment on anyone's post. Like if you're adding something to the conversation, you shouldn't take the attention away from the author and you should not promote your own brand and business. I delete comments like that all the time. Somebody was promoting a donut franchise on my post yesterday and other stuff I see like WhatsApp and weird stuff. Just delete those comments. But building a commenting strategy can really help build your visibility. And I think that that is a very smart thing to do. So let's look at, I have a couple questions. So, yes, your good is good enough. Harold, 1,000,000%. Remember, most people think about themselves. They're not thinking about you. They're not hanging on every word you say. They're not hanging on every mistake you make. There's things that we notice that nobody else notices, right? Like it's it's so no one remembers what they ate for breakfast last Monday. Maybe you do, but hopefully you don't. They don't remember if you said like too many times, if you fumbled with the words, right? Your good is good enough. You know yourself. You've got to be confident. I think personal branding is like three parts subject matter expertise and a huge part confidence. And that really makes a difference. And I told you, I was not confident doing this for so long. And I just kept doing it. I kept showing up. I also faced the whole idea of imposter syndrome and being like, well, who am I to give people advice? And that's fine. You'll find people who think what you say is interesting and that it resonates with them. And that's totally, you know, not everyone's your cup of tea, or you won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. So the other question here is, do I plan a series of content before I go live, or one at a time? So I'm doing a series, Janine, and it is the 12 days of LinkedIn Live, and I did a bunch over the last few weeks, and this is one of them. I always planned on doing a separate one for where I was just giving advice and talking with the audience. The other ones I've had guests, and they've all had a similar format, so a Q&A, and I've sent the guests the questions in advance. Now, that is another great way to build your brand and business, is to feature other people on your LinkedIn Live or on your podcast or on your blog. So here's another example. I always have guests on my blog and on my LinkedIn Live. And I do it because I want to promote other people. But also, I know that by promoting other people, I'm also increasing my visibility. So I have this series on my blog. Check it out. It's my Women Who Wow series. And if any women want to be part of that, let me know. I profile women, I give them 5 questions to answer, and they can respond back and do it at their leisure, and it's all about them. And so the interviews are held on my website. They're housed there, so people have to go to my website to read them. So I'm drawing traffic to my website while promoting other women. It's a win-win. Come up with something in your niche, such as, like, maybe it's a speaker series. You go to a conference and you find like 3 to 5 people who you want to interview, and you do like a behind the scenes, maybe before or during or after, make yourself the reporter at the conference. You could do a CEO series in your industry. Maybe you work in healthcare and you interview a bunch of CEOs, and you ask them questions either, by email, or you have them then as a follow-up on your LinkedIn Live, and you go through the questions, and then you're essentially building your own brand by helping people elevate theirs. Come up with something specific. I would love people to do something like that. Maybe like it's a look at, like, if you're in recruiting, the top legal recruiters answers to the most frequently asked questions. Okay. So like you can come up with ideas over and over again. Maybe you want to interview reporters on some of the ways that people can get into the media. So come up with 2 to 3 ideas and just do it. Try it. You've got to build an audience. By the way, I don't obsess about how many people are watching or not watching, because the other thing with LinkedIn Live, or anything I do, I can use the content after. Remember that. So the content I produce today, this becomes a recording that lives on LinkedIn. I can also download the transcript. And you knew I was going to say, turn this into an article, turn this into several social posts, and take video snippets from today and turn that into additional short video posts. So, guys, a really easy tip for video, if you don't have any fancy video equipment, is to post the video on YouTube, whether you make it public or make it private or unlisted. And then from your phone, hit the screen recording button. And, sometimes you have to kind of play around with the timing, but take a screen recording of, like, let's say this is a 30-minute LinkedIn Live, do a 3-minute segment, and then you can edit it a little bit on your phone. I don't know if anyone's ever done that before, but this tip came to me from Alexis Robertson, who works at Foley and Lardner, and it is the best tip. I was like, how do you do your quick videos? And she was like, this is how I do it. So this is the screen recording button on your iPhone. I'm sure that Androids have a similar function. So try that. I'm going to get myself a Mac for Christmas, and I'm going to try a little bit more fancy editing, but I might just hire somebody to help me, because I'm not really great at that. But can you see how the LinkedIn Live can then be turned into multiple different pieces of content later on that can also keep working for you in the background? So you should post it on YouTube. You should utilize the shorter videos. You can make an article. So I download all the transcripts and then make the actual, so I get the transcript through Otter. And I don't know if any of you have used Otter before, but it's another great tool. So I hope I'm giving you guys some content ideas. I really would love for you to think about how you can build your business and your brand on LinkedIn. the fundamentals are your profile, but then commenting and starting to post. And really, nobody needs a blog anymore. I mean, if you write a lot of content like I do, you may want a blog, but you can think of LinkedIn as your blog. Think of LinkedIn, think of your profile as your homepage. And then you've got the ability to create LinkedIn lives. You got the ability to put videos. You have the ability to write articles and newsletters. And this is all free, everybody. So I don't know why not as many people, I think, who should be using it are using it. And so, really, decide you're going to do one of these things. You absolutely do not need to do all of these things. In fact, I'll encourage you not to do it. And the other thing I'll encourage you not to do is to be on every social platform. It's really hard to be like, to make it on Instagram and TikTok and all of the other channels. And you should only really go where your clients are. So remember that. Be where your clients are, where your prospects are, and really identify what your goals are. Is your goal new business? Is it more visibility for yourself? And whether you work at a company or not, every one of us has a personal brand, and it's working in the background because we have LinkedIn, we have website bios, we have information about us that people can Google. So you might as well take the reins on this, like Santa does with the reindeer, and really make sure that you're managing these things. Come up with content ideas. Maybe it's that CEO series once a month. Maybe I'm doing a bunch of 12 days of series, like my own LinkedIn Live, and I have a 12 days of CRM series for one of my clients. Like, play on the different things. The new year's coming. And so that is a terrific time to think about a year in review and a look ahead. You could do a piece in January forecasting trends in your industries, like 4 things you need to think about in blockchain, email marketing, whatever it is. And you've got content there for days, right? Actually, weeks. You could do a personal annual review, which would be a look back at your year and all of the things you accomplished and which things you're the most proud, and look at some of the highlights and the things that you did and make it client focused. So, lots of ideas. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. If you have any final questions, let me know. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on my blog, which is the social media butterflyblog.com. I'm on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram at Stefanie Marrone Legal Marketing. And I'll be back this week with some special guests. And if you're around next week, let me know. I might go live next week as well. I feel like there are a lot of people who are around. So I thank you, everybody, for joining me today.